Tonight, another exciting heat as our pros prepare to make some cagey checks, relentless raises, and big-time bets. I'm Roxanne Ciordia, and this is the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. Welcome to the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. Jesse, tonight's going to be another electric heat. How important is it to have experience at the table?
You know, it's the age-old question, Roxanne. Would you rather be young and fearless, or would you rather be a little timid but have seen everything 1,000 times? Tonight, we're going to find out, because John Wong, only 22 years old, he's got a tremendous amount of gamble, but he's up against some of the craftiest veterans in the game. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it should be a great one to watch. Let's see who's at the table tonight.
On call is Midland's gambling legend Chicken Joe Kuomi. Rising British young gun John Wong, the Dragon. Mr. Poker in Sweden himself, Ken Leonard. The wily and experienced British businessman Rob Cooper. Double a World Series moneymaker Irishman Don Fagan. And Big TR Trevor Reardon.
These players are rolling up their sleeves and are ready to get this game underway. We now go over to our commentators, Jesse May and Anthony Hardy.
Starlights and star brights, the gladiators entering the arena for this heat of the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. Fearsome, awesome. This lineup has everything, including the up-and-coming youngster, the poker legend, and some of the great names in the game. Between these six, it's going to be very hard to pick a favorite. They can all play, and they will play with 100,000 each in starting chips. The yellow's worth 1,000. The blues are 2. The reds are 5,000 each. 600,000 in total tournament chips on this table, and the one who garners them all will go to the semis. If you like aggressive poker, we're in for a treat and an eyeful. Cards about to shoot out for hand number 1. Blinds of 1 in 2,000. I mean, any venture, Anthony, about who's the fastest player at this table? I mean, between Don Fagan, Ken Leonard, and John Wong, who's pretty speedy himself, there's going to be some chips flying, aren't there?
Pass.
Yeah, if I had to put my money on someone here as an outsider, I'd probably go for John Wong, Jesse, because he's very unpredictable.
Well, Rob Cooper has gotten aggressive the first hand, and look at this. Don Fagan, pocket kings, and just calling behind Bob Cooper. Do you like that?
Pass.
Yeah, he's just sort of feeling his feet at the moment, just flat calling with the kings.
He's obviously hoping to track Rob Cooper, but if it comes an ace on the flop, can Fagan get away from this hand, you wonder? And it doesn't really matter. All Bob Cooper can do right now is lose money.
Check.
How about this? Very trappy from Fagan, but now that there's 3 diamonds on board, he'll have to start betting, won't he?
6,000.
Yeah, I mean, Robert's taken off here, Jesse, and there's going to be a flat call here from Don.
Well, Don won't realize that Robert's drawing dead, will he?
All right.
Right.
It's 6,000 plus some, and whatever it is, it's going to be impossible for Cooper to call.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Don's had a look at the board and realised that there is a flush draw, and you know, if Cooper is drawing to it, he doesn't want him drawing to the flush. So,
and Cooper, who's very experienced in this format himself, a final table finish the last time he played on TV. He's going to have to lay them down. You've played against Cooper several times, haven't you, Anthony?
Yeah, I've played Cooper several times. He's another tricky customer, really.
He's very tricky. But it is Fagan taking this pot down, and chip leader after one hand.
Yeah, Don Fagan had a really good position in the World Series. I think he was about 70th this year.
Yeah, out of like 9,000 players. I mean, that's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Oh, that's a fantastic result.
They used to call Don Kaluki Don.
No, only when I'm bluffing.
And he's been around a while. I mean, he played in the World Series back in the early 90s.
No, never. That's why I get so
when
nervous.
poker was a game that wasn't even on the internet. You can believe that.
Pass.
Still
Pass.
first level. That's
Pass.
big TR Trevor Reardon. Quite well known on the English scene as Trevor.
Raised
experienced.
7,000 total.
And Chicken Joe Kwame on the button with the ace-10.
Call.
Raising, and he's gotten called by John Wong.
Pass.
Joe's an action player, isn't he?
Joey's an action player, yeah. If we see a 10 on the flop here, Jesse, there could be some fireworks.
16,000 in the pot. And John obviously senses weakness, but Joe Kwame's a lot stronger than he needs to be here. And I wonder what's in John Wong's mind. Do you think he's going to try and bluff at this?
Well, he's certainly going to have a go.
16,000.
I mean, there are a lot of players that you can bluff on this, but Joe Kwame does not like to be pushed around.
Pass.
He's thought the better of it. That's a pretty good play by Wong there. John Wong, a poker face that everyone's getting to know. He's been heralded as the next big thing in British poker. That 4th place in a televised event in Ireland. Dazzling for his play, and this young gun has no fear at all. These guys aren't doing much talking, but you
Pass.
do figure that there's not going to be shy about getting their chips in, Anthony.
Pass.
I mean, everybody's so aggressive. You have like 3 guys here who
Pass.
like to be the most dominant player at the table.
Pass. Call.
And
No
I must
raise.
say I don't envy Ken Leonard right now. He's got a lot to live up to after what he was saying in the box last week.
Yeah, and he's on the button there, Jesse, so obviously he's in control.
I think he actually might be in the small blind here
3,000.
against Cooper. Flop 2 sevens.
Call.
And, Cooper needs a 5 for a straight. Oh, wow.
Check.
Cooper's hit his
6,000.
bingo card. And Ken is going to have a look. Do you think he can get away from this?
No, I'm surprised Cooper didn't check there, actually, Jesse. I would have checked that, and I think Leonard might have taken off.
Call.
Ken suspects larceny here. He's actually drawing dead. And it's up to Cooper as to whether or not he can get Ken to pay him more. What do you think? Oh, that's bad news for
I'd
Leonard.
definitely check here if I was
Check.
Cooper. But he's gonna bet out, and well, he's gonna get a call.
12,000.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Leonard's got a chance to do all his dough.
He's too experienced for that, Jesse. Just call here.
Wow. Calling with 2 pair. You're right, Anthony. And
5, 6.
Cooper, I wonder how much money he could have got, but he'll be happy enough getting himself back above level here, and they've put a real big dent in Leonard's stack.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Leonard, that's fantastic play there. He just showed you why he's one of the best players in the world.
Very famous on the poker scene in Sweden. Ken, an old-timer who took a few years off, came bounding back with a big win at the Bellagio. He's a player with a lot of game. Still 6 on this table. Who's going to be the first to fall? Well, only the cards and chips will tell.
Welcome back. I'm Roxanne Ciordia, and this is the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. The $360,000 prize pool is a dream for our pro players. Who's up for the challenge? We go over to our commentators, Jesse May and Anthony Hardy.
Leonard, short stack now, down to about 75,000 on the button. And it is Fagan and Cooper vying for the chip lead.
Pass. 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 Call.
And a limp in. Why would you limp in from the button there? Just trying to make something happen?
Yeah, just trying to create a little bit of action, really.
1,000 on Rob Cooper.
Call. No
And
raise.
nobody's got nothing here. 6,000 in the pot. Clean miss.
Check. Check.
Although Don Fagan has made a pair of queens. He might not
4,000.
like it.
No, and Ken's got the flush draw.
Pass.
Really interesting. I mean, we've seen Fagan fold a couple of pairs here. He seems to be of the opinion that the only thing, and you said, Anthony, the only thing that Fagan can do right now is hurt himself. He's playing very solid early. This is how the ranking of the hands work. Bottom of the ladder is high card only. Higher than that is one pair. Above that on the ladder is two pairs. If two players have two pairs, it's the higher pair that counts. Three of a kind is often called a set. A straight is 5 cards in a row of any suits. Aces play high or low in straights. A flush, 5 cards of the same suit in any order. A full house is 3 of a kind plus a pair, and everyone's looking for that 4 of a kind. It's self-explanatory, but rare as a diamond. A straight flush is 5 cards in a row, all the same suit, and top of the pops is a royal flush, which is a straight flush, ace high. So these guys all have their hands full. I mean, this has been a strong tournament so far, but on paper, this looks like it may be the strongest heat of the lot.
I looked at all the lineups, Jesse, and I think this is the hardest heat, to be honest.
Pass.
There's just no weak spots in it. I mean, you really could see any of the 6 coming through.
Call. Pass. Pass. No raise.
It's been a limp in here from Rob Cooper in the early goings. And I think he's head up against the big blind.
Check.
Chicken Joe. They both
4,000.
flopped the same kind of hand here.
Yeah, both with poor kickers.
But because the 6 and 3 are out there, chance of a split
Cool.
pot only 15%. The 7 virtually must play.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's flat call there might slow Robert up a little bit.
It's actually a good card for Rob Cooper. It's made him a flush draw here. But I would imagine Kwame is
8,000.
still the favorite with that kicker.
Call.
And as it happens now, Cooper needs a heart to win or a 4. A 3 or 6 would be a split pot. That's the perfect card. It's made him a flush. And
Check, check.
I
King forward.
think Rob Cooper has misread his hand
He
here.
hasn't.
He's definitely misread his hand.
He hasn't seen the flush there, Jesse. He didn't see it. If he sees the flush there, Joe's got to call him. It's come back door.
You know, Anthony, I wonder if there's something wrong with the lights there, because that is the exact same seat that Dale Hoy misread a flush last week. And
To the long king, he shows the 7.
Rob Cooper's
Oh, that was awful.
is saying, what was I doing? That's not like Rob at all. He's very experienced.
They're really
I can't
harsh,
believe that.
those
I've never
ones.
ever seen Robert Cooper make a mistake like that. He hasn't seen it. It's come back door. He gets paid. He must make a bet.
I'll tell you what, that is great news for Joe Kwame, who basically was forced to call there. He checked with the intention of calling, didn't he?
He must call. He's got the top pair on the board.
Would have been really fun if Joe had made a big bet on the river and
Pass.
Rob had called. Oh, gosh.
Pass.
So every time you think you've seen everything, Anthony,
Raise to
something else
8,000
happens.
total. Pass.
It's really odd.
Oh, wowee.
Fagan has made it a
We
total
raise.
of 8,000 with the ace-10.
15,000 more, 22
And
total.
this is a
Pass.
very trappy sort of re-raise, isn't it? It's enticing.
Yeah, the trouble is when the ace-10's suited, Jesse, it does make it look a little bit more attractive.
Call.
Quick call from Fagan. There's a good chance Fagan can get trapped, could get in trouble here. If it comes an ace, however, he'll be quite happy.
It's a great flop for Joe.
Check.
Wow, what a check there. He's given Fagan the rope to hang him with.
I don't think Don bets. I think he might smell a rat.
Check.
Good call. Fagan's looking for a spade or an ace. And
Joe needs to bet here, Jesse. Otherwise, he's risking an ace on the river or a spade.
there's 46,000 in the pot. How much should he bet?
25,000.
Well, I think whatever he bets, he's going to get called.
Fagan's
Fagan's got the flush draw and an ace to win it.
He's nearly getting the right price on this, is Don, but
25,000.
I'm just wondering here, Anthony, if Don might decide that if he moves all in, he could take Joe off the hand.
Joe doesn't put this hand down. If he comes over the top here, I think Joe might move all in.
What is the proper play for Don? Looks like he's ruling out folding.
Flat call, Jesse. He must flat call here.
Can he afford to lose 25,000 chips? That's what he's trying to work out, I guess.
Call.
Well, Don has called. He must be reading the situation right, but big pot here for Joe Kwame, who doesn't want to see a spade or an ace. That's what Fagan's looking for.
King of spades would be disastrous, wouldn't it?
It would. Here's the river. It came the king, but the wrong one. And Joe can barely keep the smile off his face. He's actually got the nuts here. Best hand possible.
I think he might check here, Joe.
Check.
Oh, wow. I think you've played with him before. He's going to try and get Don to hang himself. He's thinking, and Don is going to...
Not very good, Katie.
Don might fall right into it. I mean, it's the only way Don can win is to bluff here. Is he going to try and represent ace-king?
20,000.
Oh, dear.
That's too much love.
Well,
Now, if I was Joe, Jesse, I'd put
All
in
in.
the minimum right. Oh, he's gone all in. He's gone all in.
and the Irishman, Don Fagan, 77th in the World Series this year, has really gotten outplayed by Chicken Joe here, hasn't
Played
he?
really well here, Chicken Joe.
Don cannot
Pass.
call, and he is seriously wounded here. Kwame plays the kings to perfection.
Yeah.
Looking at the leaderboard, if you had to pick a favorite before this heat began, you might not have said Joe Kwame, but he has displayed some moves and grooves tonight so far. Expect the unexpected. That's usually the good rule of thumb for a poker game. Two of the favorites, Ken Leonard and Don Fagan, both fighting out of a paper bag right now, and Chicken Joe Kwame running over this table.
Pass. Pass.
The only guy who's
Pass.
really yet to do
Pass.
anything is Big TR Trevor
Call.
Reardon, but we expect that from him early on,
Raise.
don't we?
4,000 more.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
6,000.
Joe is absolutely playing power poker, Jesse, isn't he?
Really is. John Wong limped into Ken Leonard's big blind here, and Leonard has raised 4,000 with the ace-king, and Wong's peeling off a flop. This is action. Is he trying to send a message to Ken that you just can't steal my blind like that?
Yeah, he is here.
Check.
Interestingly
Check.
enough, if it comes a jack, they'll both make a straight. Be very bad news for John Wong. And,
Ken Leonard stare down.
ace-king the best hand right here.
Scaring me.
He doesn't breathe, you know.
He does have a hard stare, Ken, doesn't he?
Check. Check.
Why is Ken checking this all the way down? Does not want to do too many chips?
Ken's wary of John. Don't worry about that.
He's
Check,
basically
check.
checked John Wong into the winner.
that's good.
Ken's going to be sick when he sees this.
He should have put a bet in there, Jesse.
Didn't have to be a big bet, did it?
Doesn't have to be a big bet. You know, any size bet, and John can't call, and he's let him river him.
Well, Ken's been sitting beside me talking the talk, but he's always ready to walk the walk.
My family's always been extremely competitive, and if you made a mistake, you'll hear about it for months. Like if you dropped a glass of milk, your mom and dad would ask you want to eat in the bathtub for several months. But I'm the only one who's been really interested in playing games. My dad, he learned me chess when I was 6 and poker when I was 7, and from then on I always played games.
A big WPT win in Vegas, and captain of the Swedish side, Ken, has helped put Scandinavian poker on the map.
The Swedes are pretty mellow. They can handle a bad beat. They're not so emotional. You see, people from the southern parts of Europe, they can get very emotional, and that's not good in poker. You can use that against someone who has all the emotions and needle him and get him off his A game.
Every angle should be pressed, and Ken doesn't mind the needle to get an edge.
I use table talk all the time to get a feel for players and see what kind of persons they are. And you can ask them a lot of questions even before the game starts. Where do you play? What levels? What's your favorite game? You have a girlfriend, and you watch them, see how they eat. There's a lot of details that you can pay attention to and information you can get from them just by asking, and there make a reasonable guess on what kind of player he is. Like for instance, before I asked John Wong where he plays and what level, so I know what kind of skill level I should expect. And when we had lunch today, I watched him eat, and he eat very fast and compulsive, so I think he's going to be an action player. That's my prediction, and I'm going to act accordingly. But I'm always ready to change my opinion if I'm wrong.
Two of the favourites in this event, Ken and Don, they're the two low stacks, and they got to be very careful.
Hanging on the button here, but 38,000. Can't really afford to lose a pot here, can he?
No, I think he's going to sort of have to gamble shortly.
Call. Pass.
I think John is chomping at the bit a little bit. But this table has been so
Pass.
passive in a sense that
Pass.
I can understand why he's trying to play every pot.
Call. No raise.
No one charges a limper's tax. It's the blinds right now against John Wong. Top pair in the small blind for Big TR. Fast play or slow play?
They plays this.
4,000.
When you got top pair with a low kicker, Jesse, if you slow play it, it's very, very dangerous. You need to bet out with it.
Raise 10,000 more, 14
Look at this.
total.
Wong has nothing but 7 high. I mean, does he just read Trevor for not being able to stand the pressure?
Well, he's got the top pair, Trevor. The problem is he's got a tight image, Trevor, and he could lay this down. I mean, I wouldn't lay it down. I'd come back over the top.
Very tough for Trevor to put John Wong on the 6-7 right now.
Well, he's probably going to put him on an ace-jack if he passes.
Just thinking, Anthony, there are a lot of draws out there. 10-jack and 2 diamonds.
The problem is, Jesse, if he just flat calls here, he's not going to know where he is when the turn card comes. He either has to pass or re-raise.
Pass.
Wow. That's what Trevor Reardon reckoned. And John Wong, the dragon, showing he's not scared to gamble. And that's put the fear of God in everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, John looks like he's the only player really prepared to gamble.
Right you are. And that'll work in his favor. 7 high. Played like a genius. He's nuts. He's completely nuts. This is good. It's fun when you get to see someone doing something so unexpected and creative. But I guess that just shows Trevor Reardon really exposed his hand, didn't
Pass. Pass.
And,
Yeah, I mean, Johnny's prepared to play only 2 cards, Jesse. That's the danger. He's like a firework. He could go off in any direction.
Raise to 7,000 total.
10-5 suited. And this is the second time Joe Kwame has picked up 2 kings in the small blind. Last time he re-raised Don Fagan and got a bundle. This time he's trapping. And he's going to trap John Wong. Wong's got ace queen. He's going to re-raise here, isn't he?
He might flat call, Jesse. He may flat call here. He might smell a rat.
He's having a big think about it. I think it's only about 4,000 to him. He's having a real think.
Raise. 27.
Raise to 27,000 total. Raise a
So
20.
the bet was 7,000. He's raised to 27, and we know what Trevor Reardon is doing, but has Joe got Wong on the line here?
Joe's just deciding. Oh. No, Trevor's just looking for a bit of TV exposure here.
He doesn't have any intention of
No,
calling.
he's got no intention of calling here.
Does he suspect that John Wong is trying some kind of squeeze play here? That John Wong might not have a very strong hand?
I think so, yeah. I mean, Trevor's
Pass.
actually giving Joe more thinking time because Joe will probably move all in here.
Joe has... This is really, really sneaky what he's done with these two kings. And I think he's caught his man here.
Joe can't put Wong on aces here, Jesse. He's really thinking about this. He's going to move all in, I'm sure of it. If he flat calls, he doesn't know where he is if an ace
20
comes.
more. You've already put in for your 7.
I'm all in.
Re-raised, all in.
I think John Wong might have to call. This is a very tough fold for John Wong, isn't it? I mean, what does he put Joe on now?
I think he's got... Well, I would put him on ace-king, Jesse, or aces or kings. You know, the ace-queen isn't looking that good. I don't think he calls. John's got a pass here, Jesse.
I mean, the interesting thing, Anthony, is that John Wong was probably thinking a lot more about the strength of Trevor Reardon's hand. I imagine once Trevor passed, John thought the pot is his. I think this has really shocked him.
But what hand does he put Joe on here? If he puts him on ace-king, he's tailed off. He must pass.
It's very hard for Joe to play ace-king like this, wouldn't it?
This would be a very mature laydown if he puts this down for a young man.
I'm wondering if he might put Joe on a small pair like 4s or 5s. I think Joe's played this very trickily.
Jesse, Johnny's desperate to call this, but you know he's got it in the back of his mind. You know, if he's got ace-king, if he's got kings, if he's got aces, I should lay this down.
You know, the problem for John Wong is he can fold here and still have 100,000. He knows that Joe Kwame covers him. He could think that if he calls and wins, he's playing a pot for the heat.
Has he got me covered?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You have 30 seconds to act.
That's a good point he's made there. Has he got him covered?
yeah, I would imagine he's entitled to know for sure, but he has asked. Mad Marty, the tournament director, has put him on the clock. John will have
Cool.
30 seconds,
He's
or
called
he
it.
has called.
Okay, gentlemen, your cards, please.
And it is John Wong all in, and in big trouble.
He said ace-king. He thought he had ace-king. He's got the pair of kings.
Yeah,
Nice played as well.
nice play, says. I mean, Joe Kwame has just played this like a dream.
Yeah, Joe doesn't have a lot of luck in these events, so that's the problem, Jesse.
Wong all in and drawing to an ace here, or
bump an
something
ace?
tricky. And running hearts would work for Wong as well. Kwame says, hold 'em. Wong praying for the bullet. I tell you, this will be a shocker to see John Wong go out here. 257,000 in the pot. Massive. That's changed nothing, Anthony. It has to be an ace.
No, but Joe's heart will be pounding here, Jesse.
He's 93%.
Nice one.
Kings have held. And tell you what, that's unfortunate. Wong,
Gamble early.
he looked like the strongest player, but Joe Kwame just wrapped him up, trussed him, and threw him out the window.
Yeah, he. I felt John should have
Yeah,
passed
it's
that.
time
Joe's
conference,
played
Marty.
fabulous. He's played perfect poker tonight, Jesse.
He's gotten pocket kings twice and gotten on massively both times. Joe Kwame, he's approaching half the chips in play. Can anybody touch him?
Have you ever dreamt of playing poker with the big boys in Las Vegas? Well, here's your chance. You could win a holiday for two, including flights, accommodation, and £500 spending money. All you have to do is answer this question. Who won the World Series of Poker in 2006? A. Phil Hellmuth, B. Jamie Gold, or C. Gus Hansen? You can enter by going to www.5.tv/poker. Entrants must be over 18. Competition closes at midnight on the 22nd of May. I'm Roxanne Ciordi, and this is the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. Whether learning the game or mastering the art of poker, take note because this is Europe's finest. We go back over to the table.
Ken does not look very happy there. Short stacked. And tell you what, the four look very meek. I mean, you look at the body language. Ken, Cooper, Fagan, and Reardon, they're all sitting there staring at Joe's massive stacks.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, Jesse, but Ken keeps counting his chips.
Yeah.
And that is a sign of, you know, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, Fagan doesn't even have enough to count. He just looks down and thinks, what happened to me?
Pass.
It
Pass.
feels like,
Call.
Ken's limping in. He's very stubborn. Those are the exact same two cards he
No raise.
did a bundle with against Cooper earlier when Bob made a straight. But Cooper's got flop 2 pair here.
Check.
Cooper's just going to be his
Check.
bogeyman tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Cooper's checked it there, which he needed to do, really. He's trying to create action, trying to get Ken to hit a pair.
And he was rewarded.
6.
He just flat called this Cooper.
This is feeling like a nightmare for Ken Leonard, I imagine.
Raise 12.
Yeah, he's raised, put a small raise in. Well,
It's a minimum raise.
he passes now, Leonard.
Oh, no!
Oh!
Okay.
All in. Call.
Ken moved, and boy, he just hasn't been himself tonight. Cooper has just
Doesn't look good.
trussed him up. He's drawing nearly dead as Ken.
I can't.
And I think it has to be a 10, and I think a 10's been passed. There's just one card in the deck. Ken is standing. This is not a happy time for Leonard. He looks like he's giving his own obituary. And Rob Cooper has just knocked out the Swede.
I can't believe what I've seen, Jesse. He's got the third best pair on the board, and you know Cooper's made a bet, and he's gone all in. He's moved all in as though he thinks Cooper's at it. He obviously hasn't played with Cooper before.
Very fast card.
Chicken Joe Kwame, Rob Cooper have most of the chips. Is this going to be all over?
This is going to be one of the quickest heats by the set, by what we've seen so far.
Ken, you're leaving the tournament tonight in 5th place. Definitely one of the toughest heats. What happened?
I mean, I never got into the game because I had no cards and no flops, so I was just waiting. And then it was small blind, big blind situation where I made a move. Unfortunately, he had the goods, so just a call and I knew I was out.
Thanks, Ken. Now, over to the table.
Two empty holes there. You imagine that either John Wong or Ken Leonard would be happy to take 26,000 and sit back down in this tournament.
Just a waste of money.
You yourself might accept that deal, Anthony.
I'd love to be back in it.
Pass.
One, you think if you'd come in on a flat,
Raise to
I'd
10.
put the raise anyway.
Joe's just going
Pass.
to use everything that moves here. 4 plus 6. And
But this, if he shoves in,
Don in the big blind, who said
Raise
raise
all
all in. This is a bit of a spot. Don might get back in this. Do you fancy that Joe might call him?
Under 21 more.
If he does call, it's basically because he can put Don out, and he knows Don is a danger. So yeah, I think he is going to call this.
I mean, he knows that Don doesn't need a hand as strong as 2 jacks to raise all in here.
No, he's probably thinking Don will go all in with any 2 cards.
Joe says, didn't expect you to have that much. It's 66,000. If Fagan can win this pot, he's basically right back in it.
He's big favourite here, Don.
80%. There's a 5 and a jack. I think Kwame's best shot here might be the 2 clubs to split it.
2 clubs to split it, Jesse. Yeah.
Look at that. Joe's getting greedy. He said it could come 5-5. But any club right now would split it. Anything else, and Don Fagan has doubled up.
Oh, that's okay.
Right color, wrong shape for Kwame. And Kaluki Don, they just fed the bear, I think.
Yeah, he's just doubled through. Exactly what we were saying. He could be dangerous now.
5, 6 of diamonds all night.
Joe can still
I'll have to
afford
lose
to
enough of it.
smile. You can understand why Joe called that. I mean, if Don had just a random ace, Joe might have been in very good shape.
Yeah.
Big stack.
Pass. Raise to 12.
Cooper on the button. 4 + 8. Huh. Wonder if Don is thinking here.
He's going to play these, Jesse. He's going to go all in again.
Re-raise all in.
That's aggressive.
Well, I'll be honest, that's the sort of move I would have played as well, because if he can double through again, Jesse, he's got more chips than what he started with.
And
It's a great move.
Look at this. He's got Trevor Reardon with ace-king in the big blind.
Well, he's unlucky, you know, he's unlucky. Big Trevor's got the ace-king, but does Trevor want to get involved?
40.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting here. Fagan has probably made the only bet
16,
that might get
64
Reardon off the
in
hand.
total.
If he had made a small raise or Reardon's coming in, what do you think Trevor Reardon puts Don on here?
I don't know. The only reason Trevor won't call is because of his tight image, but you know, if he puts him on ace-queen, then it's a certain call. I think he's going to call here, Trevor.
Yeah, 4 outs. That'll be 61.
If Trevor does call and lose, he'll have 35,000. That's how much he covers Don by. And he won't know what Rob Cooper is going to do behind him.
The thing is, Jesse, if Trevor puts his hand down, what hand is he waiting for?
You would move it all in over the top here.
I would. Yeah, I would. He can take Fagan out here. Fagan's a massive danger in this.
What about Cooper? Is he worried about the strength of Cooper's hand at all? Rob's staring right at him. This is amazing stuff by Fagan. He's just in there like a mouse. I mean, the truth is Reardon can call here, and Fagan's not in terrible shape.
It's a great move by Fagan, because Fagan's played with big TR before, and he knows he's got a tight image. He's put him under pressure. He's asked TR the question. Will he respond?
Wow! Laid down ace-king in a big blind.
I know,
And
I was worried you were sitting with some of my
Cooper
hands
folds
over there
quick.
as well.
Don Fagan has taken the worst hand of the 3 through. He might be back in this.
It's superb play, Jesse. We said earlier, if Fagan can double up twice, he's back in it. That's exactly what he's done this evening.
No, I mean, I've
Well,
passed it, 'cause I'm
you don't
wondering
get
if you-
77th in the world
The only thing on my head
out of 8,000-9,000 without being able to shove the chips in. No fear, Kaluki Don back on his hobby horse. When only the winner goes through, you can't be scared of going out first. Something Phil Hellmuth knows about.
All right. The unique thing about this tournament is you start with 6 players. Only one player is going to win something or advance. Only one. So 2nd through 5th gets nothing. So how do you play under those conditions? Well, obviously you play for first. You don't care if you finish 6th or 5th. So you have to devise a strategy where you're playing for first. Lasting until you make the final 3 and just hanging in there is no good. You have to play a much more aggressive strategy. You have to go for the win.
Seems like we've got 4 players here who are all very confident in their post-flop play.
Call.
And
Pass.
Fagan doing exactly what Bob Cooper
Call.
did earlier, limping in under the gun with what most would consider a raising hand.
Check.
I mean, this game has taken on a very funny tenor, hasn't it?
Check. Check, check.
And what is Don Fagan up to?
I'm surprised Don didn't bet there, Jesse.
Tell you, the longer this goes on, the uglier those 2 10s work. Look. They're still ahead. But no one's got a club, and Rob Cooper just made 2 6s. Check.
Check. 5.
5,000.
Call.
Don is playing this hand so strange, but it's working, I guess.
Yeah,
Would you
he's
like to raise there?
Well, I'd have probably raised. Yeah, I'd have probably bet on the flop, to be honest with you. I would have flat called. I would have flat called Cooper there on the turn.
And that's a very ugly card for Fagan.
That is a
Ugly for
scare
Cooper
card.
as well.
Yeah, that is a scare card.
I'll tell you that the lights are going to fall out when Don Fagan turns these 10s over. Say, what was that about? But it worked.
It did work. Yeah, he's took the money.
And I guess the big story of the last 20 hands or so, Anthony, is the fact that Don Fagan has got himself back in this. He's still a short stack, but only by a sing-song.
Pass. Call. Call. Check.
We're seeing a lot of flops. Cheap.
Yeah, Cooper could get in trouble with his hand. You know, with his low kicker.
Button, then the blinds. The button is Chicken Joe, who's just flopped
Wow.
3 10s.
Check. Check.
And we'll imagine that Joe will be willing to check this till the cows come home.
Yeah, a king could spell trouble. King or a queen.
But when you're limping in and people are playing lots of flops in their blinds, you have to be careful, doesn't it? This is liable to happen. It's hard to put a person on a hand when he's in so cheap, isn't it?
Exactly. When you limp in, Jesse, you never know where you are.
Check. Check.
Soon.
8.
This is dangerous for Cooper.
Cooper's going to call this because obviously he's got the king of clubs.
He has to be very careful here.
No, he's passed.
Fold.
Very well measured pass by
Fold.
Cooper. I'll tell you what, you're going to have to, everyone better be on their toes here because even though the pots are cheap, one mistake spells danger.
Check out all you need to know about poker on our website, www.5.tv/poker. You can find out all you need to know how to play the game and test yourself in our quiz to see how good of a player you really are. Plus, there's news for the tournament and details of the players.
This is the kind of format where if you don't pull the trigger, by the time you pull it, you might not have any bullets in the gun.
No, in these events, if you're an aggressor, then normally you come out on top, Jesse.
Pass. Pass.
Oh, they have let
Raise.
Fagan get back in this game. A raise from Joe Kwame, small blind, big blind. Is it's just
12,000 total.
him putting a little more pressure on these guys now that the blinds are up?
Yes, he's putting pressure on the other three because he doesn't feel they want to play. Cooper
Oh.
wants to play.
It was a minimum raise to 6,000 called by Cooper in the big blind. Similar types of hands, but Joe has more chips and is the aggressor right now. And huge flop. I think we're going to see all the chips go in.
Cooper's got a
18,000.
massive hand here with a flush draw
Raise all
and
in.
the top pair.
Do you realize what just happened? Cooper's gone all in. I mean, Joe Kwame only bet about 14,000. Cooper's raised him something like 120.
But that's what he needs to do, Jesse. He needs to ask Joe the question, and moving all in has asked him the question.
Wow. Does the overbet look weak? That's what Joe's trying to figure out.
I don't feel Joe can call this, Jesse, because of his low kicker. I think he's got to put this down. He's got a massive chip lead.
Looking at the percentages, even though Kwame does have the better kicker here, he's only 12%, and he shows the queen and folds. Rob will feel very happy about that. He liked the way he played it.
That's fantastic play by Cooper.
I thought it was a massive overbet.
He's won a big pot, and Joe's had to put the hand down.
It did the dirty work, didn't it? For someone who considers himself an amateur poker player, Bob Cooper has certainly had the results. He's won about 200,000 pounds in televised events. When he gets chips, watch out.
The skill is trying to, not get caught, thinking someone's weak, pushing. You might have a weaker hand, but they're going to lay down. So there is a lot of skill to it, and there is a lot of luck because the blinds go up quickly, and you start making moves. So you need the cards to stand up.
With the cameras rolling and the spotlights focused on our top players, who will crack under the pressure? Find out after the break. Welcome back to the PartyPoker.com European Open 3. The remaining players are all eyeing up a seat at the semifinal table. Who will grab the chips and make a dash for the winnings? We go over to Jesse May and Anthony Hardy.
I mean, these are aggressive players, but they've been very crafty. The only guy who's gotten action is Chicken Joe, and every time he's gotten it, he's been delighted.
Pass. Pass.
Blind on blind again. Cooper on Fagan. These guys should take it outside or get a room.
Call. No raise.
I mean, Fagan must be thinking, every time it's for my big blind, can't you just fold once? And he can't. And this time, Cooper has flopped the best of it.
Check.
Should Don be betting here?
Yeah, I think Don
Check.
should bet, but he's just playing very cagey, isn't he?
I think he just wants to be very careful against Cooper, doesn't he? I mean, Cooper is so trappy.
He is.
Check.
Seems like the only time Cooper doesn't have anything is when he bets.
8,000.
Huh.
Pass.
And levels on levels. Cooper thought Fagan was the one doing the trapping.
Yeah, as it's turned out, Jesse, Fagan's played it very well.
I don't know what's going through these guys' heads. I think the worst hand has won between them just like every time. But, four ways, still 3 and 6,000, and you mentioned that Fagan has been benefiting by the way this game is going. I think he had 20,000 at one point. He's basically worked his way back up to over 110, and he only had to turn his cards over once with the jacks. He's kind of kept his chips out of danger.
Call.
He has. He hasn't risked his chips, which is what poker's all about.
This time he's just... It's a small blind. Cooper has limped from the button.
Raise.
And raised announced by Fagan. Ace Jack. How much is he going to make it?
25 more.
25,000 more.
That's quite a big raise, Jesse.
This is what Big TR was waiting for. Don has stuck in a third of his stack. Can Trevor get him to bite for the rest?
He's slow playing this, Jesse.
You think he might just flat call?
I don't think he flat calls. I think he'll put in a small raise. I don't think he moves all in. He's just working out what he's got left.
Reardon started this hand with 100,000 even. If he calls the raise, he's going to have 70,000 to work with. What's the best way for him to play it?
The way I would play it is I would double
Re-raise.
Re-raise.
I would double Don's bet, and then hoping that Don then goes all in. And I think that's the way he's playing it, Jesse.
Looks like it. It looks like it.
It might make Don think that he's not that strong.
He's counting this about 20 times.
25.
You've done, it's exactly what he's done. He'll try and get Fagan on the hook. The problem...
1,000 more.
Fagan wants to know how much it is. This is very, very tough for Don. I mean, this is where we find out exactly what Don Fagan is made of, I think.
I think Don's going to move all in here, Jesse. I think Trevor's played this perfectly. He's trapped him here.
at the end of the day, Ace-Jack's just not that good a hand, is it, to a re-raise?
No, and I don't think he can flat call this. He's either going to pass or move all in.
The interesting thing is, I know a lot of people don't believe in pot odds, but Don's actually getting the odds to try and peel off an ace. I think his problem would be, Anthony, that if he calls, he won't even know if the ace is the card he's looking for.
No, but I think Don feels he is behind, but I think Don thinks it's gambling time.
Trevor is trying to wheel those chips into the pot. I mean, look, Trevor's like, stick them in.
Trevor will be happy to take this pot down, Jesse, as it is.
Fagan
You
has
know I'm
to.
a tight player, don't you? Passed ace king to you earlier.
Ah,
You know, all this.
influence me at all. I've a good hand here.
Big TR wants him to pass here by saying I passed an ace king earlier. You know I've got a tight image. Donny's going to call this, I'm sure of it, Jesse. I would call this.
Don's just said I've got a good hand here. His hand is a lot better than it needs to be for him to have played like he has so far.
It's easy sitting here. We know Reardon's got the kings. Donny's going to gamble.
Oh, he's put with a 6 in. Done.
Decided to
six.
call at the end of the day.
That's 31 total
I
more.
wonder. I just wonder, Anthony, what Fagan's thinking about doing with the rest of his chips.
That's it. Thank you very much.
I couldn't just call that, Jesse, because if you just call it and an ace does come on the flop, Reardon could have ace king. Then Fagan's tailed off.
130,000. Trevor Reardon's gambling. He's going for it all, and the ace has hit the board.
He doesn't get paid now, Don. He doesn't get paid. If he'd have moved all in earlier, he would have got paid.
Oh, you can hear that sigh from Trevor, and you can't blame him. This is what he wanted to gamble with. He passed the ace-king once, looking for a better opportunity. He found it, and now the mother of all cards, the one he doesn't want to see, the ace has hit the board. And
But what he's thinking, Jesse, is he hasn't got many chips left. Should he gamble and try and hit a king?
I don't see how he can fold that. I think he was mentally committed, Anthony.
He is pot committed. He knows he should pass, but I think he's going to have to call it.
I mean, you know, Don could be playing very trickily with queens or jacks or tens, couldn't he?
Don't worry about that, Jesse. Trevor wants to put this hand down, but he's got too many chips in the middle.
I can only be ahead of queens or jacks, I think.
That's what he's saying. There's 168,000 in there, though.
Have I got the club?
He hasn't got any clubs, Jesse.
No, it's...
Yeah. He knows he's behind. What do you do, Jesse? You know you're behind. Do you throw your chips in knowing you're losing?
I'll tell you what, if this wasn't a $360,000 prize pool, he would have called. Sometimes you just call. You can't really blame Trevor there.
He's decided to gamble, Jesse. He's pot committed. What can he do?
I feel like Trevor must have been mentally committed with those chips no matter what came on the flop. He was trying to get Don to put his chips in. He got the action he wanted, and Fagan has now outdrawn him on the flop. There's 200,000 in there, and it is Reardon all in. He needs one of two kings on the river. This is an unfortunate way to go for Big TR. This is no fun for him. And that's the end of the story.
I think he's got me covered, hasn't he?
Yeah, you've got 38. You've got more than 38.
Played it well, Anthony.
He's got more. He's got him covered, Martin.
He played it well, Jesse. He couldn't get away from the hand because I mean Don should have moved all in pre-flop, and Trevor's got a call anyway. So you know, don't feel sorry for yourself. You know, Trevor, you've done nothing wrong this evening. You've played a good game, but unfortunately you got outdrawn.
The big story though, Kaluki Don Fagan, who has gotten himself back in this tournament, back in it. He's nearly the chip leader. He has 10 times more than he had before. This has been a game of the Pocket Kings. And Fagan zooming up by knocking out Trevor Reardon up to 218,000. But Joe Kwame still the chip leader here, Anthony.
Yeah, he is. And he's played very, very well. Don Fagan, though, you know, that's ominous, Jesse, isn't it? You know, half hour ago, he was languishing bottom of the pile, and now all of a sudden, he's in second place.
Sorry?
Has Cooper fallen off the doornail here? Joe leaning down, peering in. Good enough?
Yeah, well, obviously
Pass. Call.
Cooper's now getting involved.
Check.
Yeah, I mean, this is another case of what you were saying, Anthony. You know, if Cooper raises here, he wins the 15,000. Now he's out of position, and well, who were we to say? This is going to work out perfect.
Nice flop for him, Jesse.
Top pair against second pair. Forget what I said.
Yep.
But I mean, this is
Check.
I was going to say this is what Cooper is hoping for, but he may have trapped himself.
15.
You can almost see him going all in here. If he does, he'll get called.
He will. He's played his hand poorly. He should have bet on the flop with a top pair and a top kicker.
Fold.
Wow, he passed it. And you know, Cooper has tried to trap Fagan so many times, it has never worked. And he's going to have to change strategy, isn't he?
He is. I've seen quite a lot of Cooper, and normally when he gets short-handed like this, you know, he is a lot more aggressive, Jesse. I'm surprised tonight that he's not actually being more aggressive.
Would you like to jet off to Las Vegas to play poker at the Bellagio, shop at Caesar's Palace, and overlook the city from the stratosphere? You could win a holiday to this amazing city, including flights and accommodations for two, and £500 spending money. All you have to do is answer this question. Who won the World Series of Poker in 2006? A. Phil Hellmuth, B. Jamie Gold, or C. Gus Hansen? You can enter by going to www.5.tv/poker. Entrance must be over 18. Competition closes at midnight on the 22nd of May.
Pass. Call.
Free flop offer to Joe,
No raise.
who has yet to fall in a trap tonight. I think we've seen a flop just about every single hand.
Yeah, which suits Don,
Check.
doesn't it, really?
Check.
Well, looking at the stacks, I think
Check.
a pair
Check.
of jacks and a flush draw. Fagan playing this very cagely. Just thinking
Check.
here, bookie, that and he's trying to let Joe bluff at it here. Joe can only win by betting, but I don't think Fagan
20.
is passing. I mean, this is why Fagan checked, right? To induce a bluff?
Call.
Pair of jacks. I was just going to say, bookie, it seems like the biggest pot we've seen since this level began is about 40,000, and in drips and drabs, Fagan has stormed ahead. He's chopping them, he's chipping them, and I think he's the chip leader right now.
Yeah, he's played very, very well. I think in the next hand, Jesse, I mean, Cooper is in the blind, and I think you're going to have to see him move soon. Any two high cards or suited cards, connecting cards, I think he's going to have to make a move.
From 26,000 up to 279,000 is Fagan. He has been quite impressive the way he's won hands this level. I think he's won about 100,000 since the 5 and 10,000 began. He's probably won about 6 or 7 pots. Now that Fagan's the chip leader, do you think he might start raising, or is he going to keep limping with these type of hands?
Yeah, I think Fagan will start putting the pressure on now.
Call.
Perhaps he's worried about Cooper.
Raise.
I like this move from Joe.
Raise. 30 more. 14 total.
I mean, Kwami's not going to be drawn into a
Pass.
game plan that he doesn't want. And it does seem like he plays better in these raised pots than in the cheap ones. It helps him to define the hand, doesn't it? Any chance Don might call here?
I think he puts this down, Jesse, because he's got a big
You've
chip
got him
lead.
covered in this, have you? Much have you got there?
Fagan wants a chip count. He's going to find out
These 20s.
that he actually
40,
covers.
40, 120, 40, 50, 60, 70, 180, about 190.
Fagan's got more chips than Joe, and he's just realized it. Do you think he can make Kwame put the hand down with a re-raise?
No, I don't think so. I think Fagan's going to pass this, Jesse.
I mean, you know, I'm thinking back to one of the first hands of the game when Fagan got into terrible trouble by calling a Kwame raise with the ace-10. This has the same inklings of it, but
Check.
I don't understand, Bookie, why Fagan wants to get into these kind of pots
Check.
when he's doing so well the other way.
Yeah, and also, why hasn't Joe come out firing here? You know, he's first to speak.
Check.
If Dom bets, Joe can't call.
Yeah, the first check looked trappy. This check, does Fagan read it as weakness now?
I think he does.
Check.
If it comes a jack, Don's going to be in horrible trouble. And as it is, it's come a queen, which has given Don the winner. That's, has Kwame made a mistake here by not betting?
Yeah, I feel Joe should have. Joe was first to speak, and he had the initiative, and I feel he should have taken it and, you know, bet on the flop.
I mean, I don't know what Don's thinking about, but it looks like he was lost in this hand from the start, which begs the question, why is he involved? He's going to bet, isn't he?
40.
40.
Is he deciding maybe that if Joe has some kind of ace that he can get paid off here?
Thing is, what can Joe beat?
The queen.
King 10, Jack 10, I guess. And Joe's going to be a bit disgruntled, saying, "Geez, I dogged that. I should have won it." Feel like. What do you think, Anthony? Who played that pot worse or better? Kwame saying I had a chance to win. Fagan saying I had a chance to win. As it is, the queen on the river is what decided the damage, and Fagan now has a very strong chip position.
I just can't see why Joe's called it at the end, Jesse. I mean, you know, what can he beat with a king high?
I feel like he could have used that 40,000 to invest it a little earlier.
Yeah.
Perhaps with a bet. I mean, Fagan is a very, very dangerous player, but so are Reardon, Leonard, and Wong. Look at this, from 26,000 up to 369. That's a pretty nice escalator ride that he's taken. And dear, oh dear, things going foul for Chicken Joe. This is the worm of being in trouble. Look, around hand number 51, 52. And then since then, I don't think he's won a pot. About 25 hands, Anthony.
Yeah, he's, you know, he was up to 300,000, Jesse. And now, you know, he's down to, what, 117,000?
It is no fun right now to be Chicken Joe Kwame.
So, they want me to talk about the best style of play. But the best style of play changes depending on your opponents, depending on how many players are left. In general, if it's a three-handed game, a really aggressive player tends to do well. But if he's playing against two super aggressive players, you want to step back and play really strong hands only. So it's just the best style of play really varies. And the best style of play is something that you have to work a long time to learn.
You can find out more about poker by logging onto our website, www.5.tv/poker. Learn the rules, figure out what the best hands are to play, and test your bluffing skills. You can also download video interviews with some of the game's best players. And a little limp in here. So, it's an interesting strategy that Fagan is employing. Is it the correct one?
Yeah, I think it is. It's hard to put, you know, a king down three-handed. Oh, what a flop he's caught here,
Check.
Jesse. And Joe's caught the deuce as well.
This is really unfortunate.
All in.
Oh no!
Oh no.
You can understand why Kwame thought he had to make a move. King's up. The best hand, no. Fagan trapping. And Kwame's going to be out of here.
Good night, God bless.
This is what Don was waiting for all night long. The big trap. He finally sprung it.
Yeah, you know, we did say, didn't we? Can he hang in there, Joe, or is he going to fall into a trap? And he's just fallen into the trap.
Oh. That, while it looks like a good card for Kwame, is going to be immaterial. He's drawing dead right now, bookie.
You can't win.
And Don Fagan is going to be head up with Rob
you, boys.
Cooper.
Good luck now.
Joe Kwame, he
Thanks,
really
good luck.
gave it a good run. I mean, he made
Good
some
luck.
spectacular plays today and then just sort of
Another one, mate.
dripped and drabbed away silently.
Yeah, it's a shame. He started off so well, didn't he, Jesse?
And Kaluki Don Fagan, well, you can't really say much except for he's been awesome.
Joe, you're out in third place tonight. You're up against some tough competitors. What happened?
Well, I'm gutted, to be honest. I got off to a flying start. I was playing fine. I got Don Fagan just where I wanted him, and I was nearly there. And basically, it all went wrong. I managed to get the chip lead, and as you do when you get the chip lead, you've got to bully a bit and control the table. But unfortunately, it seemed every time I picked a moment to try and either steal or knock somebody out, it was the wrong moment, and somebody had a hand against me, and I kept doubling Don especially up, and he came back and bit me.
Thanks, Joe. We'll be back with more poker action after the break.
Head-to-head and one-way traffic so far. Don Fagan, who has got about 400 and more thousand. They talk about the great Irish players, but they better start talking about Don Fagan. He's up against Rob Cooper, who has kind of flitted his way here. And what does he have to do now to take down the Don?
Well, he has to become a lot more aggressive. I've seen Robert in this situation before, Jesse, where he's sort of out chips, but you know he's come back from this situation. I've seen him win events, so he's well capable, but he's just got to increase his aggressive play. That's the bottom line, really. Don's not going to want to gamble pre-flop, whereas Cooper should want to gamble pre-flop.
Call.
Just a limp in with the 6-5 suited. And will Cooper try and move here?
Yeah, I think he'll raise here.
No raise.
There's 30,000 in there. And, by checking there, I guess Rob is respecting the fact that Don may have tried to trap.
Check.
Fagan's going to win this pot now, isn't he?
Well, it depends whether he bets or not.
I'll put you all in.
He's took it down now.
And you all in.
Very tough for Cooper to call that bet.
Can't call.
It's a gutsy play by
It's
Don.
a great play by Don.
Pass.
Naked flush draw, but a 6 high. Fagan taking 30,000 more. He's biding his time, is Robert Cooper. Biding his time. Steel rim sunglasses for either player.
All in.
Raise. All in.
And that's the hand he likes. He'd like to get some action.
We've got a race.
He'd like to get some action from that hand. This is great news for Cooper.
Yeah, he's in a very good position here, Jesse.
He's finally found the matchup that he wanted. And this pot, 220-something thousand. If Cooper has these, lets these ace-10 hold up, and they look very well disposed to, it's going to be a good little race for him.
Outdraw me.
Oh, wow. He can stand. There's the ace. This is switch things. Cooper finally found the situation, and now he's drawn to 3 cards in the deck. Ugly. That's the way poker sometimes is. Fagan has not flinched. Turn and river to come. It needs to be a 10 here, bookie.
Yeah, 10's his only hope.
And Fagan says, not yet. Let's let the river card be dealt. Now it's enough. Aces and eights, the dead man's hand. Don Fagan taking down Robert Cooper. And Cooper's strategy at the end there, Bookie, actually did suit him. He got his money in a very good spot.
Yeah, he was unlucky there at the end. You know, if he'd have won that pot, you know, we could have seen perhaps a different outcome. But, you know, Don's played very, very well this evening and become the victor and goes through to the next round.
Thanks, Marty.
Kaluki Don.
What a heat. The luck of the leprechaun was with Irish player Don Fagan, and Rob Cooper is out. We go over to Jesse May, who sat with the winner and runner-up.
The death of 1,000 cuts. Don, congratulations. It seemed like that was the strategy you employed there. A lot of little pots that brought you to victory.
Yeah, I always felt comfortable, even when I lost most of my stack. I was sitting with maybe 28,000. But I still felt comfortable to play. I didn't need to panic.
Once you got that chip lead and it went three-handed, what was your strategy?
The strategy was not to give up that lead too easy. You know, I wanted it. If somebody was going to, it was mostly on my own terms.
Commiserations, Robert. But you played very well. I mean, you got in a very good spot at the end. It looked like you were trying to bide your time, and when you did get that money all in, it was strong.
Yeah, I didn't want to push it in stupid against Don here, because it's just not just worth keep pushing it in and hope for luck. I just wanted to, you know, he was giving up some of his small blinds, so I could just hang in there. I just needed that time to get in ahead. But unfortunately, it didn't stand up. But he's a great winner, so.
Don, I know you've come close in a couple of these before. You must be pleased that now you're through to the semis. Is it yours from here?
No, the last time I played, I haven't been playing this format that much. So I've actually went online and I sat down in a similar, played a couple of sit and goes for it, just to get the feel for this again, and that's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks.
Irishman Kaluki Don Fagan is the man going through to the semifinals.